All right, John.
Yep.
Tell us about your role here at Edith Cowan University.
I'm a lecturer stroke researcher. I work for the School of Education in the secondary area. My area of interest is quite diverse, but in terms of the working with teachers, it's in the area of diversity and inclusivity.
So, inclusion is a really important aspect of what microboards do. Why do you think inclusion is important?
I always think of inclusion as being part of the way we do things, the way we change things. I think if I'm just talking about school, I think the population that exists in schools, the families that access schools are so diverse now that we need to think about accessibility and inclusion for all students, not just those who we might have traditionally connected with the word inclusion. I can't see it as that. So I see inclusion about being about school reform and restructure. But I think bottom line is the opposite of inclusion is exclusion. None of us like that. We don't want that for anyone. And finally on that one, if I thought there was a more pressing time to understand difference in this world, I would say, I don't think there has been. So I think inclusion is a vehicle to develop a deeper understanding of difference, and I think that's good for everyone.
Okay, so a lot of our families have people with communication difficulties, and so Microboards Australia does a lot of work around supporting the development of good communication. So why do you think that's an important thing?
If I reflect back on my time as a teacher, I don't think that I developed the sort of communication networks in my classrooms as a teacher that allowed me to understand what students needed, how they collaborated, interacted with their fellow students, how they could learn more effectively, how I could get the message across to them and to their families, and how people could get to know them more. I think I was quite limited in a way, and so developing effective communication networks in the classrooms is really important for all of those reasons.
So one of the things you've done is worked with Eli's microboard and helped him to be included in some units here at Edith Cowan University. Tell us about how you went about enabling that.
Okay, Eli's mum, the lovely Jackie Mills, is a fantastic advocate for definitely her son, but people with disability in general. And one of the things, and I've worked with Jackie closely here at ECU, and she was very keen for Eli to experience university life and for him to grow as a person and to learn. Previously, I'd had a young lady in my class a few years ago who had Down syndrome, and it was an awesome experience for her. Testing experience, challenging experience for her, and probably for myself. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that aspect, and probably most importantly, as much as the learning was great for her, the experience was great for her, it was awesome for the other students, her fellow students who are training to be teachers. So she was in a third year education unit. And I just think if we're going to talk about inclusion and what inclusion looks like, what could be better than including those who perhaps traditionally weren't around at universities. And so for Eli, who has reasonably complex, definitely communication needs, finding an appropriate, I think, unit for him was interesting. He's always been interested in drama, and I'll say something about Eli as an individual. He has bucket loads of charisma that always works for people, and so we developed with a colleague of mine a performance unit in drama, and there was a bit of we had to think about how that was going to look. We assessed students in terms of their interactions, developing ideas, developing inclusive ways to explore drama, and it was run over a semester. I guess we initially looked at perhaps a performance at the end of the semester, but in the end it was a series of, I guess, vignettes of drama activities, extremely powerful learning experience, transformative, I would say, for the students. Eli loved it. In actual fact, what was quite interesting was, as the semester went on, there was a couple of other students who were included, and perhaps on one level, seemingly that didn't have the same needs that Eli might have had, and so I think that was challenging and confronting for some of these, and they were fourth year education students. I think Eli seemed to present a series of challenges to them that eventually didn't eventuate. In actual fact, they were very keen to work with him. They liked his attitude, his I guess his spontaneity. It kept them on their toes. But we've had students come back who are part of that particular learning experience, as in teachers, and come back and presented to other students. We've presented this this learning experience at a couple of conferences and seminars. It's always well received. It was really, for me, a really powerful, one of the most powerful experiences that I've had as a university educator.
And as for the microboard members, what role did they play in all of this learning that Eli did here at ECU?
Yeah, we had some of the microboard members who assisted Eli, joined in the learning activities, developed with Eli some ideas that they brought to the classes. I guess facilitated. I was about to say facilitated some of the learning, but we left that a lot to the pre-service teachers themselves. We wanted them to develop their own ideas.